out there hear any of the bigger releases from the last couple weeks? By that, I mean singles too, like from full lengths that aren't here yet, but I have, because some of them I've been looking really forward to for a while, but I just slept on bullshitting about them, so, well, here's the bullshit. Last Friday night, it Beckons Us All, Darkthrone. Wait, no, fuck that, let's do Coffin Storm first, yeah. Alright, in case anybody watching's unaware, this band has half a Darkthrone in it, Fenriz, because Darkthrone's only been 2 people for years, along with Apollyon, who's guested with them in the past and plays in Noir. If you don't know them, they're mostly pretty black and thrash, emphasis on the black, so if you like bands like December Wolves, What's Up Mass, you'd probably like Noir. And perhaps if you like some legacy black metal, you might also recognize his name from IMMORTAL later on. And then Apollyon's bandmate for many years in Lamented Souls, Bestial Tormentor. If you like the CANDLEMASS, SOLITUDE, AETURNUS sort of thing, there you go. Now, I learned something about myself while listening to both the Coffin Storm album and the new Darkthrone that I don't think I knew before. I've always been partial to catchier music, right? Some people like stuff that's not exactly catchy because maybe it's more complex. Others like both, but historically I think I've always liked the catchier stuff. And shit, maybe catchy is a way to describe something subjective, but what do I know? But what I think I learned, and I'm wondering if anybody else is like this too, sometimes I appreciate, and as a result, really like certain music for other reasons than just infectious melody. And there are 2 major things about these albums and others like them that I now know I enjoy. The first is the production, when it's very, I'm gonna say both fuzzy and raw, because with that, it's almost like a Polaroid picture. Like, you know, there's all sorts of natural artifacts and weird hues and shades that show up and stuff. And even if it's not all truly analog, but actually just studio magic sometimes, it still sounds cool, I think. And the second's maybe more intuitive, but it's when a kind of authenticity seems to come from the compositions themselves. That kind of ties into some of the criticism Darkthrone's gotten since CULTO, where, you know, people have been disappointed that they haven't been totally black like on Blaze Upward, but like, a quick note on that. Really, if you go back, you can find plenty of non-Transylvanian type songs, for example, on Panzerfaust or Plague Wielder. Like that Triumphant Gleam song, that's a pretty rockin' riff, or I mean, yeah, on Plague Wielder, Sin Origin, you could put most of that song anywhere on Cult or Fuck Off, you know? Or Blasphemer from Total Death, that sounds like something Nuclear Assault or Destruction could have written. But anyway, what's really nice about how authenticity applies to the Coffin Storm albums, that it's obvious these guys are doing literally only what they want to do and nothing more. And maybe it sounds kind of pussy-ish, but there's an innocence in it that sort of reminds you of youth. It's the young dudes in a basement jamming in their heavy metal band, or Retaliation of the self-titled Carnivore coming from the kid's bedroom in the 80s that he may not have been old enough to see him at L'Amour's or CB's, but he's got it jamming on his record player and he's enjoying the hell out of it. Or the first Grim Reaper album or something. None of those really sound like Arcana Rising, that was just an illustration. So yeah, Coffin Storm's clearly playing only what they want to play and saying fuck what the YouTubers think and whatever, man, they're just having fun. But okay, a few quick highlights of the songs itself. One of my favorite tracks, Open the Gallows. I think they gave this song what I'm calling the No Stayer treatment. No Stayer, Witchfinder General on the Death Penalty album. Meaning there's an intro that's just kind of standard fare, but then all of a sudden, holy shit, this riff comes in and just absolutely dominates the song, man. Megalomania is sort of like that too, Sabbath, when the riff comes in and God, man, or about a minute and a half into Die by the Sword, Slayer. I don't know about you, but like, can you keep your ass like sitting still in any of those parts? Come on, I can't. And what's so awesome about this song is that like, it easily could have just been a shorter one, but no, they made it a nearly 10-minute track where once that intro ends, the riff becomes the entire rest of the song, and like, at the end of it, you realize how many times you heard it, and now it's finally over, and it was just such an epic headbanging listen. Shit, I'm taking up all the time talking about Coffin Storm, but, you know, Over Frozen Moors, the lead single, is another favorite, very catchy, and the vocals are like, if you know ISENGARD, an older Fenriz project, it's that really pretty baritone, triumphant sounding thing. So yeah, dude, ultimately the whole of this album's pretty riffy, mid-paced, 80s, slightly doom sounding with some rockin' beats throughout. You'll know what I mean around the middle of 85 and 7 Miles, etc. There you go, I like Arcana Rising a lot. Now, it beckons us all, Darkthrone. It's the same sort of thing that the last few albums have been. It's that dark, vintage, analog sounding, early 80s, not necessarily doom, but mid mid-paced, indie-owned bookstore heavy metal. It's a great album to listen to with headphones and just chill out to, even though it's not anything even chilled out at all. Howling Primitive Colonies. It's a great mid-paced riff, and it really sets the tone for the whole album, which is this kind of dramatic sounding thing with a sense of like struggle and challenge throughout. Eon 3, the third song in their catalog called Eon, it's got these cool vocal layers that kind of fucking like, I don't know, cascade or wash over each other and stuff, and it's pretty awesome, honestly. Black Dawn Affiliation, which was the first single. I love this song, man. It's a great cardio song if you're into that sort of thing. And in that moment, I knew the answer. It's a pretty neat instrumental, which, like, normally I get bored with those, but this one I actually really like a lot. The Bird People of Nordland. I'm not particularly sure why I like this song as much as I do, but okay, so maybe this is a great example of what I was saying before about how, like, it's not no stayer or Run to the Hills sort of catchy, but it's just really rich with that analog feel. Hell, as is the whole fucking album, man. You know, as are all Darkthrone albums, maybe except for like Sardonic. You know what it is? You know what I call this kind of heavy metal? I call it bedroom metal. Like, it's perfect to listen to with headphones because its naturalness just takes you out of modern times, and it's no different than listening to Rock and Roll Over or Volume 4 on vinyl. The Heavy Hand. Initially, it sort of reminds me of like both that opening riff of Dance of Eternal Shadows from the Funeral Moon album or Hordes and Nebula on Panzerfaust. The Lone Pines of the Lost Planet. It makes me think of Lone or Twin Pine Mall from Back to the Future. But the opening riff kind of reminds you a little of Planet Caravan, but it's a pretty badass, slow, stonery, kind of dramatic sounding track with the sort of rockin' part at the end. And yeah, man, I don't know, I'm definitely a fan of It Beckons Us All, and I'm not lying when I say I wish the album was about 20 minutes longer. Okay, next, the two singles so far from the upcoming 6 Feet Under album. It's called Killing for Revenge. We have the opener, Nothing Ingrate, and Ascension. Admittedly, while I know the Haunted and Warpath albums, I sort of stopped listening after that for some reason, which I probably missed out on some real bangers, but I'll get to them. But yeah, if anybody can vouch for Maximum Violence or the couple after that, let me know. But Nothing Ingrate's almost kind of a sing-along-y death metal song with a pretty awesome guitar solo. Like, it sounds like a typical way to start off an album. And then the second song, Ascension, it's pretty fast and sounds kind of cannibally. Once again, real badass solo. Who's playing lead for him now? Is it Jack Owen? Did I hear he's in the band now? I don't know if he joined during the recording of this or after or something, but yeah, again, I don't think I can speak too deeply on 6 Feet Under, because like I said, Haunted and Warpath's about as far as I went, so we'll see how the rest pans out. And finally, new music from the upcoming Gatecreeper album, Dark Superstition. Alright, the first song I heard off of this was Masterpiece of Chaos, and it sounds really typical of anything from him before, and I loved it. It's honestly an awesome, by this point, signature Gatecreeper song. However, since Masterpiece's drop, I read there were more songs from the album, so I went to listen to them. I put on The Black Curtain while I was driving, and I swear to you, I seriously had to do one of those things where you look back because you're like, did I put on the wrong band? The beat and even the melody of this song's really uncharacteristic for him. It was sort of like, take that band All That Remains, for example. Up until the following song from those guys that I'm going to mention, I only knew one other thing from them, which I think it was called Follow, that I'm pretty sure was from 98 or 99 when I heard it. But a few years ago, I'm at the gym taking a breather and I'm looking up at the TV and a video for All That Remains comes on. If memory serves, the song was called What If I Was Nothing? And I'm hearing it and I'm like, this is All That Remains? I thought they were a sort of like overcast kind of metalcore type band. But this was a really gentle, soft sounding song, so I learned that they're multi-dimensional, I guess. This Black Curtain from Gatecreeper is sort of like that. Like, it's kind of a big departure if you know their other music. And I was wondering, like, why would they write a song like this? And I thought about it and started remembering other bands that have those odd sort of one-offs like that. Like, for example, the first single off Dying of Everything, the latest from Obituary, is called The Wrong Time. That is practically a happy-sounding death metal song, if you can even call it death metal, but regardless, it's an awesome song, and I can't deny that I love it. And then Nobody's Fault, Testament. That song's pretty Skid Row with that real MTV kind of chorus, but again, I still love it. I can't help it. And then the final song that we have so far from Dark Superstition is called Caught in the Treads. Again, it's like, it's really not very typical Gatecreeper. Like, to me, it sounds sort of almost Euro, kind of borderline melodic death metal, which not really my thing, but there are a tiny handful of bands like that I do like. At the Gates rules, and I like Scar Symmetry, that's about it. So that's not to say it's bad at all, it just feels pretty different for Gatecreeper. So yeah man, there you go, there's my experience with a few new releases. Have you heard any of them yourself? What'd you think? Please do let me know if you like, but otherwise I'm out of here. So if you did like this video, cool man, maybe you can give it a thumbs up. Or if you just like hearing somebody bullshit about heavy metal, the subscribe button beckons you, and we'll see you next time on Concrete Spew, but until then, keep loving heavy metal, my friends.